Can I ask you, if you won all the money, what would you do with it?
Who hasn't fantasized about hitting the lotto jackpot? Just imagine all those millions of dollars and what you can buy with them. Houses, fine dining, and even cruising the Mediterranean with your own yacht. Everything sounds awesome, but winning the jackpot isn't everything it seems to be. Most people dream about hitting the jackpot, but they should be cautious with their wishes. It's not uncommon for lottery winners to end up with nothing but shattered friendships, ruined marriages, poverty, or even death. Winning the jackpot, sounds like a dream come true, until the money draws out selfish and bitter relatives, scam artists, and charity cases from the shadows. Many lottery winners are left penniless after a series of bad decisions. This video will go over the second part of the dumbest lottery winners ever. If you haven't watched part 1, you can do so by clicking on the top right corner now and then coming back to this video. Those stories are as mind-blowing as these. Now, let's get started with the dumbest lottery winner number. Number 10. Tonda Lynn Dickerson. Tonda Dickerson worked as a waitress at Waffle House when she received an odd tip. Because he didn't have any more money, her customer left a lottery ticket instead. He had no idea that he was about to change this woman's life forever, and not for the better. Later that week, she heard the news that she had won $10 million. The other waitresses were thrilled since they had agreed to split the wins before the lottery drawing. On the other hand, Tonda did not know about such an agreement and planned to retain the money for herself. These actions resulted in a series of lawsuits against her, which she eventually won and taught her the importance of protecting her assets. Tonda and her family established a corporation for this specific purpose. However, the IRS pursued her for not paying taxes on a gift of shares she made to her family through the firm. She challenged them, but lost, and had to pay $1.1 million in taxes as a result. A few years later, after all the money was gone, Tonda ended up working as a poker dealer at the Golden Nugget Casino in Mississippi. Number 9. Laura and Roger Griffiths. The marriage of Laura and Roger Griffiths ended in divorce less than a decade after the British couple won a $2.19 million jackpot. Roger pursued his rock star dreams by spending large sums of money to have his band release an album. Laura became familiar with the high life after the couple purchased exotic cars, a $1 million home, designer clothes, accessories, and a costly private school for their daughter. They invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in opening a salon, where Laura was later forced to work as an employee just to make ends meet. In the end, the couple had less than $10 and a shattered relationship.
How did that affect your life, the media interest? Because that's a totally separate thing.
That was the hardest part of it. Having all your life dragged up in the papers and stuff from your past and stuff from your childhood and stuff that you don't really want people to know about yourself, what you've had to go through.
Number 8. Callie Rogers. Callie Rogers was another lucky winner from England, who got rich at a very young age, but she was even more immature and less prepared to manage her new fortune than the previous couple. Roger was only 16 years old when she won the equivalent of $2.3 million in 2003. A decade later, in 2013, she only had about $2,500 in the bank. She burned through the money due to drugs. Rogers dropped about $300,000 on cocaine alone, as well as plastic surgery, high-end clothing, gifts, and partying. These decisions made Callie, who was 33 at the time of this video, live on benefits. However, since then, she has felt way stronger and completely different. Recently, she said in an interview, "It was too much money for someone so young. Even if you say your life won't change, it does, and often not for the better. It nearly broke me, but thankfully, I'm now stronger than ever." Number 7. Curtis Sharp. Curtis Sharp won $5 million in the New York lottery in 1982. Unfortunately, his story was one of the rags to riches and back again. By 1987, all of his money was long gone, just 5 years after hitting the jackpot, thanks to multiple failed marriages, trips to the casino, reckless spending on sports cars, and lavishing gifts on friends and relatives. Fast forward to today, Curtis is a minister in Tennessee. According to him, other winners should walk away to clear their heads before spending any of their winnings. Number 6. Evelyn Adams. Evelyn Adams made lottery history in 1985 and 1986 when she won 2 multi-million-dollar prizes in New Jersey back-to-back. Her total winnings were just over $5.4 million. However, like so many other lucky winners, Adams couldn't get out of her way. She compulsively gambled her money, eventually losing most of it to the Atlantic City casino. But that was not the only deadly habit to her fortune. Giving too many expensive gifts to family members, spending on expensive clothes, and making a series of bad investment ideas completely destroyed her wealth. According to Forbes, Adams blew it all and moved into a trailer. So far, we have seen some unbelievable stories of some of the dumbest lottery winners ever. But get ready, because it's about to be even crazier. Up next, number 5, Lisa Arkand. Lisa was the winner of a $1 million lottery prize in Massachusetts in 2004. She, like previous winners, purchased a home and took multiple vacations. She threw an extravagant dinner for 20 of her friends and family, ordering multiple bottles of wine for $200 each. She put her son in a fancy school and bought expensive furniture for her home. Lisa decided to open a restaurant as a source of income after realizing that $1 million didn't go very far after taxes. Lisa had no prior restaurant or financial management experience. Sadly, the restaurant didn't perform well, and she was forced to close it. Lisa's money was gone by 2007, barely 3 years after she won the lotto. Number 4, Marva Wilson. Marva Wilson won $2 million in the Missouri lottery in 2012. Freya Pearson, a good friend, agreed to help Wilson manage her money and do her taxes. Pearson, on the other hand, duped Wilson into signing over $400,000 of her winnings and depositing them in a bank account set up by Pearson, as well as giving her access to Wilson's other bank account. Pearson went on a spending binge, traveling, gambling, and purchasing cars and an apartment. Pearson was eventually convicted and was given a 5-year sentence on account of fraud, tax evasion, and money. It was too late to recover the funds. Pearson had squandered all of Wilson's funds in less than 2 years. Number 3, Joseph and E.B. Roncaioli. Canadian residents Joseph and E.B. Roncaioli were already pretty wealthy when E.B. won $5 million in a 1991 lottery. They were known as a happy elderly couple to their neighbors. However, their supposed comfortable lifestyle changed when Joseph discovered E.B. had spent all of their life savings due to her addictions to alcohol and gambling. If that wasn't enough, she gave away the $5 million to a secret son that she had with another man before marrying Joseph. A few short years later, E.B. was found unconscious in her home. An autopsy had been poisoned. Joseph claimed he was checking her for blood due to her poor health, but prosecutors saw through his lies and sentenced him to 7 years. A sad ending to a probably already broken marriage. Number 2, Aruj Khan.
I'd rather not say which family member was involved, but they did relay significant concern to our doctor that this may have been something other than a natural death.
E.B. Roncaioli is not the only winner who ended up murdered. Aruj Khan founded a dry cleaning business in Chicago after immigrating to the United States from India in 1989. Years later, he bought a $1 million winning lottery ticket, but chose the lump sum, which came to $424,000 after taxes. However, he never saw a dime. He died the day after the check was written, but he never got it. His assets became embroiled in a battle between his wife and stepdaughter. Authorities suspect he was poisoned with cyanide after an autopsy showed evidence of this deadly substance in his blood samples. Supposedly, to this day, police have done nothing about it, referring to the case as an active and open investigation. And finally, we have reached number 1, Willie Hurt. Willie Hurt was a happily married family man who was well known in his neighborhood before 1989. Hurt won the $3.1 million Michigan Super Lotto jackpot. This was during the height of the crack epidemic, and Hurt was deeply tangled in the mayhem. His winnings were used to fund a raging crack drug addiction. Soon after, Hurt divorced his wife, lost custody of his children, lost his fortune, and was murdering a lady while on a multi-day drug and alcohol frenzy. Hurt's attorney claimed that the money was spent on his rocky divorce and crack addiction. By 1991, just 2 years after winning, the $3.1 million were nothing more than a blurred memory. There you have it, 10 of the dumbest lottery winners in history. Which story was the craziest to you? Let us know in the comments below.